What should an author avoid when they're publishing?
Number one, they should avoid having unrealistic goals. Don't think that every man, woman, and child on the planet is ready for your book. Have realistic goals. The second thing is that they should avoid anyone who makes a promise that sounds too good to be true.
Mm.
It probably is. And unfortunately, and I think the pandemic increased this, but there are scammers out there right now. I actually do a webinar on how to recognize a publishing scam and avoid it. And I mean,
Mm.
honestly, it infuriates me because of my relationship with so many different authors. They show me the things that they're sending. I saw one a couple days ago that an author sent me that this person was saying that they were from Universal Studios and that the film budget was approved, and it looked very realistic. So that would be the other thing, is avoid, if it sounds to be too good to be true, it probably is. The third thing is you want to avoid justifying putting out a bad book. Invest, even if it takes you some time, invest in editing. Use resources that you can access for a good cover. Read, educate yourself. There's so many resources out there. It's going to take time. And I think, Joellen, you mentioned patience. Publishing takes patience. If you're going to do a good book, it takes patience, right? And
Mm.
yeah, and but that's okay. But you want to, because it's your book, and I don't want to be morbid, it's probably going to outlive you, and it's going to travel to places that you will never go. If it's going to do that, make sure it just represents you as well as you can, and it accomplishes what you can. One of the joys I have is not only doing this to help authors and do things like on the Author Learning Center speaking, but I publish books myself, and I have just so many great stories of a book that I wrote ended up in someone's hands. I had no idea how it got there. And that's one of the great joys of being an author. But I'm glad that I took the time to make sure it's as good as it can be.
I remember I was at the book editing expo or whatever, book expo in New York or whatever. And I met with a lady, and it was really fun because she told the story, and then I went on her website and I could see it. And she'd actually wrote a book and had a great title, absolutely great title, Happy to Crappy, or no, it was Eat, Love, Pray. It was in
Right.
that movie. And they're standing there with her book because of the name in the bookstore scene. And I'm thinking, wow, and how
Wow.
great is that? And free, just there. I mean, she literally discovered it while sitting and watching the movie. How
Wow.
awesome is that?
Yeah.
That's my book. That's my name.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And books, when you publish a book, if it's if you follow the things that we've been talking about, you create opportunities for yourself that you can never imagine. And just
oh,
two real quick that I'll tell you. So one of the books I did was a children's book, and I did book signings with my daughters because the
mhm,
book is dedicated to them. Now, as a parent, honestly, I have no idea how many books we sold. So much fun to do that with my
mm,
daughters. Such great
yeah.
memories. And now we have grandkids, and I'm reading that book to my grandkids, and
Oh,
just watching their little heads try and get their head around, you read this to my mom, but it's just so much fun. The second thing that one of the books I did, it was a request, and it got translated into Italian, and that was really fun. Did unexpected, never, like, a guy got the copy of a book at a conference he went to in Europe, never met the guy, never met him in
mm,
person. I was back in Europe for the first time in a few years speaking at this conference, and a guy came up to me. I was speaking on a completely different topic, and he said, "Hey, I read your book."
mhm.
And I said, "Really?" And he had read it in Italian. He didn't even know that there was an English book. He just assumed it was Italian because he was from Italy. And
Of
I just
course.
thought, what great opportunity. And that's why I hope everyone on this podcast will just get to the finish line. Put the best book out there that you can, because it will create opportunities for you you just cannot even fathom, if you put out a good book. If you put out a bad book, no one's going to pay attention. But put out the best book you can, and it will create opportunities for you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.